And with me in studio now is Mr. Boo Linton. He is the president of GDTK Incorporated. Their stock symbol is GDTK. Boo, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Don.
I think the last time we were talking to one another, we were at the convention in San Diego.
Yes, that's right.
That's been about 3 weeks. What's new at the company since we last spoke?
Well, while we were there, our CTO, he was at an Air Resources Board conference, and they increased the renewable energy to go from 20% to 30%.
Really?
So the good news is that we have solutions to do that.
So what we're talking about, of course, and I'll bring everybody up to date who's seeing you for the first time, we're talking about a company that has a technology that can take waste heat and capture that and turn it into usable energy. I mean, this is stuff that used to just evaporate into the air, essentially, and now you're creating usable energy. And you have contracts with, huge power companies like Pacific Gas and Electric that have already said, whatever you produce, we'll buy.
Yes, that's correct.
That's a nutshell.
Yeah, since we last spoke, we've since released that we have 9 megawatts of power purchase agreements. Okay. And what I'd like to talk about is, what does that really mean?
Sure.
If I say 9 megawatts, what does that mean? Well, it means that our facilities put together, they're willing to purchase 9 megawatts of power per hour. Mm-hmm. Now, these facilities on landfills, they run for 24 hours a day. So the way this all breaks down is, roughly speaking, about $1 million in gross revenue per megawatt.
Really? And so, I mean, conceivably, if they're agreeing to buy up to 9 megawatts per hour, you could conceivably, if you get these things operational and running like you're projecting that you will, we're talking about $9 million an hour in revenue?
No, not per hour. No,
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's $9 million a year.
Oh, year. Okay.
And the net revenue, this is all, it's on our spreadsheets online as well.
Okay.
We're projecting it to be 1/3 of that. So we're talking $333,000 per megawatt.
You almost knocked me back out of my chair there
Yeah.
for a second. I had to clarify that because it's kind of,
Right.
So I know that when we were talking here in the last several weeks that the company's in a fundraising effort, I think the number was you're raising up to $100 million, and I know that was part of the reason you were at that investors convention in San Diego 3 weeks ago. How's that effort going? How are investors reacting to your technology?
They like it. It's just a matter of, we're in a depressed economy, so the money isn't flowing as freely as it could be. Mm-hmm. But our technology itself is recession-proof because it lowers the cost of electricity for people. But touching base back to what you were saying about the funds coming, or the amount of money that it can generate, our long-term goal over a 5-year period, what we're looking to produce is 1,000 megawatts an hour. Okay. Now, it's ambitious, but it's very achievable. And I gave you that formula. We're talking $1 billion in revenue a year. So that would be $333 million net revenue. Mm-hmm. And that's our long-term goal, and we believe it's achievable. That's what we're trying to do. So we don't want to get into any short-term bad deals. We're only looking for the opportunities to make us grow in the direction that we expect and believe that we can do.
Well, let's go back to your agreement with Pacific Gas and Electric, otherwise known as PG&E. I mean, this is not a fly-by-night company. It's one of the biggest power companies in the entire country. When you were able to get their endorsement of your technology by agreeing to this power purchase agreement, you must have considered that to be a significant milestone for the company.
Oh, absolutely. That was, to me, that's one of the more impressive things that we have that people can put their finger on and say that the technology is legitimate. They actually have our power purchase agreements available online. We put that out in a press release. Mm-hmm. There is a discrepancy in the actual number. Like if we say 9 megawatts, they have a different number, but that's only because every facility has a certain production capability currently. And our agreements are for up to 1.5 megawatts. So there is a little gap in between there, but if you ask the question which one is right, they're both right. But we expect them to be increased to 1.5 across the board.
As the funding starts to become reality, as the checks get cashed, as it were, and you start building out this system, I mean, is this something that you can do in tranches and build out as you are able to raise this money, or do you have to raise the entire $50 to $100 million before you can begin? I mean, what's the parameters of that?
Well, the $100 million would more than cover everything that we currently have, and we would continue to grow, but it goes in stages.
Okay, so
stages. And we would expect that these agreements, while they've been 1.5 megawatts at a time at first, we don't expect to keep them at that rate. We expect to get 100 million megawatt power purchase agreements all at the same time. So we're not going to do this 1.5 at a time, but right now it's what we need to do for our short-term goals.
Again, really fascinating, taking what has essentially been waste heat, turning it into usable energy. Again, the company is GDTK Incorporated. Their stock symbol is GDTK. Boo, great update. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you for having me.